Hey everyone, Nick here and welcome back to Gamerjoob, and welcome back to our Poppy Playtime character concept series. So in today's video, the character we created is known as Guitarnasaurus. So we're going to this character's backstory, gameplay mechanics, and all that good stuff as well. But before we start today's video, do be sure to leave a like and subscribe to Gamerjoob as it helps out a lot and it's greatly appreciated. But alrighty, with that all out of the way, let's get into the character concept for Guitarnasaurus. So previously in our Poppy Playtime character concept series, our main protagonist has found themselves in the new area known as Melody Manor. This is where Playtime Co developed all of their musical toy characters, and so far we've met Accordamoff and Sabernet. Both of these musical Ice Age characters were out to get the player, but in the end our main protagonist managed to get away safely and escape. But now they enter the third section of this maze-like area, and they are about to meet the next character at Melody Mansion. Speaking of, let's meet this character now. So the next character we're introducing is known as... Okay, well, that just happened. It turns out something inside this area has devoured the next character. Whoever this poor character was, they've fallen victim to something truly evil. The player comes across a large opening in one of the walls. Whatever ate the icicle instrument character has rampaged through this area. They've smashed through this barrier and now the player can simply walk up to the Melody Manor. As they walk through this opening, they find themselves in an open area. Up ahead in the distance they can see Melody Manor. Just as they start to walk forward, something suddenly jumps out and attacks them. The player quickly dodges the large creature and gets a better look at them. And it turns out to be Guitarnasaurus. This large hulking dinosaur is the one who was causing all this carnage. He's been let loose in this area and has been causing chaos. But how did this all happen? Well, in the beginning he was just a normal toy, but then everything went wrong. So Guitarnasaurus was originally meant to be part of the musical Dino set. He was a mixture between the musical instrument, the acoustic guitar, and the carnivorous dinosaur, Carnotaurus. His tail and body were the base of the guitar, and he had multiple tuning spikes and guitar pick horns on his head as well. He would have been a very popular musical dino toy, but the researchers quickly found out that including him in the original toy line would be a big mistake. After multiple tests were conducted, they came to the conclusion that Guitarnasaurus was far too aggressive to be a part of the toy line. He was deemed extremely dangerous and needed to be contained. Multiple other musical toys were devoured by Guitarnasaurus, and every time he ate another toy, he became more and more ferocious. His body started to change and his appetite was constantly growing. The workers sealed him away in hopes that he would never escape, but during an emergency power outage, he was able to break free. The surviving workers managed to take refuge in Melody Manor, and if any of them dared to leave the manor, then they'd be devoured like all the others. So now the player must run towards Melody Manor and hide inside. First, they need to escape from Guitarnasaurus. Throughout this area, there were multiple spaces that the player could hide in. Guitarnasaurus would be far too large to attack the player whilst they were hiding inside, and they would just need to wait until he gives up and walks away. When that happens, the player can make their move and run towards the manor, but it wouldn't take long for Guitarnasaurus to track them down once again. So every time this happens, the player would need to run and hide again. They're getting closer to Melody Manor. They just need to keep hiding in these small spaces to escape his deadly jaws. But they're going to have to come up with a plan in order to get past him, because it looks like Guitarnasaurus won't give up anytime soon on devouring the player. So they look around in search of something they can use. And moments later, they find that something. Laying on the ground in the middle of this area appears to be some sort of trap. The workers must have placed it there in hopes of catching and containing Guitarnasaurus. The only thing it's missing is bait, and the player knows exactly what they can use. Unfortunately, they're going to have to use themselves. They'll step inside the trap and try to lure him in. When the time is right, they'll quickly jump out of the trap and hope it ensnares this vicious dinosaur. So they head back out into the open area. They place themselves inside the trap and wait for Guitarnasaurus to notice them. and it doesn't take long for him to start charging towards the player. At the last second, the player jumps out of the way, and Guitarnasaurus runs into the trap. It activates and appears to keep his body stuck in place. Finally, the player has done it. Now they can head towards Melody Manor without the risk of getting eaten. So they quickly make their way towards it while they still can. For now, it seems that Guitarnasaurus is still caught up inside the trap, but it doesn't take long for him to find a way out of it. He breaks free and immediately starts chasing the player. But the player has already made it to the entrance of Melody Manor. They quickly run inside to get to safety. But what they find inside isn't what they expected. Inside the manor is a giant hole in the ground. What on earth happened here? It seems that everything fell through the floor into the dark abyss down below. Suddenly, Guitarnasaurus smashes through the front entrance of the manor. He's got the player exactly where he wants them. And any moment now, he'll snap them up in his jaws. The player has no other option but to jump down into the dark deep hole. There's no telling where it goes, but they don't have a choice. Just before they get devoured by this deadly dino, they leap down into the hole. Now the player has escaped from Guitarnasaurus. But what awaits them down in this dark pit underneath the manor is anyone's guess. And we'll just have to wait and see what's lurking down here in the next episode. So I think that Guitarnasaurus is another awesome character to add to our roster. He's definitely a ferocious character who will stop at nothing to destroy the player. He would chase the player all throughout this area of the factory, and this would definitely put pressure on the player. They would need to do their best to survive against this vicious toy dinosaur, and if they're lucky enough, they'll be able to get out of here alive. But if they aren't so lucky, then they'll end up being another meal for the great Guitarnasaurus. And let's hope whatever lurks down in this deep dark abyss isn't any worse. Alrighty everyone, that's all we have for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing, as it helps out a lot and it's greatly appreciated. As always, do be sure to comment down below what you thought of Guitarnasaurus and what you'd like to see going forward. Also, I just want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you who watched today's video and helped support it as well. All the likes, comments, and shares are really appreciated, and we're so glad you're enjoying our Poppy Playtime character concept series. And lastly, just a very big thank you to all of our Gamerjoob members who help support the channel. If you'd like to be a Gamerjoob member, then do be sure to hit the join button or the link down below. But alrighty everyone, until our next Poppy Playtime character concept video, I'll catch you later, bye.